Hi guys, Tom Quayle here for Sound Effects Premiere in Ormskirk, back with another demo. This time, another Electro Harmonix pedal, and this is the B9 organ machine. Now this is super cool, very, very cool technology. This is basically allowing you to have proper, authentic organ sounds, an array of organ sounds, with no MIDI pickup, no modification to your guitar, no crazy wireless or USB things going on. One jack, straight into the pedal, straight out of there, into your amplifier, done and dusted. And you can mix between your organ sound and your dry guitar sound. Very, very cool indeed. So let's get straight down and have a look at the pedal. It's a standard 9-volt center negative design, quite compact, really simple in terms of its features. We've got an input, standard guitar jack, and then we've got two outputs. We've got organ and dry. Now if you use just the organ output, which is what we've got here, running into this jazz chorus, this JC90 amplifier, in mono of course, then you've got the organ sound and the dry sound mixed in together, and you've got options to mix between them. Or you can use the dry output for just the guitar. And the reason you might want to do that is as you're here running into or these kind of organ sounds into this kind of amplifier, a guitar amplifier, where the speakers are voiced for guitar, can sound a little bit harsh at times, so you might want to run your organ sound into a PA. Front of house or into a separate kind of keyboard amp or kind of monitor speaker, just to get the full frequency range. But it sounds great, by the way, running into a guitar speaker as well, which is what we're going to get here, and mic'd up with those 1057. As far as guitars goes, I'm using this Fibonacci erotic custom guitar. You can order these from Sound Effects Premiere as well. So back to the pedal. So we've got the organ output and the dry output. We're just using the organ output, so we're mixing between the dry and the organ signal. Then we've got dry mix, organ mix, so they're called volume on here, so you can mix between them, which is great. It's not just a one sort of mix control. You've got the option to boost the volume or dip the volume of both, which is really nice. Modulation, which basically adds in some modulation to each of the organ sounds, and it varies depending on what the sound is. So we'll fiddle with that for some of the sounds. You can hear what it's doing, adding in the modulation. Then we've got the click control. Now the click with an organ, when you press the key, very often you get a click as you press the key down. There can often be a release sound as well. And this click is part of the sound. Now you either, with this, you love it or you don't. And in my case, it doesn't work for me so much. It's nothing to do with the pedal. It's just that there's a preference for the user as to the sound they prefer. But if you like the click in there for a more percussive sound, especially if you're not dialing in the guitar signal, it's a very useful feature to have, so I'll demo that for you. And then underneath, this is the meat and potatoes of the whole affair. We've got 8 different organ sounds. So I'll just run through those for you. We've got fat and full, jazz, gospel, classic rock, bottom end, octaves, cathedral, continental and bell organ. Okay, now you can switch between each of those using the dial switch and then add modulation to taste. Okay, so here's my clean tone. I'm using position 5, so the neck single coil through the jazz chorus. And for the sake of keeping things fairly hi-fi, I've dialed the mids out quite heavily on the actual amplifier so that we get a more kind of hi-fi kind of sound for the pedal, and it sounds like this. Real nice clean bed for this pedal. Okay, now if I switch this on, what you'll notice, first of all, the LED comes on, obviously just to show you the pedal's on. It's a clicking switch, so you've got a really good feel for when it comes on. And I've got the guitar mixed in 50% and the organ slightly higher, basically. Now, for the sake of just letting you hear the organ, I'm on the jazz setting here, just the organ sound. Okay, I'm going to play a simple melody. Just check out how well and how fast this tracks. There's no latency. Now the only thing you have to be a little bit careful of is because of the technology that's implemented here, if you play really big complex chords with sort of 4 or 5 notes in, you're going to lose a couple of the notes. But if you stick to kind of dyads or triads, so 2 or 3 note chords, and if you play single note lines, it's going to track absolutely superbly. Now a really great feature is I can immediately, now I've got that organ sound, dial in a bit of my guitar, all through that one jack, and now we've got the percussive attack of the guitar, plus the organ as well, so we get this kind of thing. Okay, now if I play some triads, really, really cool, authentic organ sound. If you run that through a PA, that's going to sound even more authentic. Super, super cool. So the way this works basically is really clever because it's picking up the pitch of your guitar on different strings isolating it, and then basically generating these organ sounds, which is just outrageous, absolutely phenomenal. So in terms of tracking, it's picking. Okay, it's really, really picking up all of those notes, so really, really cool. So I'm going to run through the controls on the top first, and then we'll go through the different sounds. So we can mix in the dry signal. If I build that all the way, we've basically got unity gain for the dry signal here, which is really useful if you're playing more complex chords because you're getting the guitar plus the actual organs to switch down different pickup. Okay, really, really cool. So again, if I play, you can hear there the way the chords are responding, it just sounds great. And again, I can dial that all the way out and dial the organ all the way up. Just make sure I don't move that pedal too much. And we get just the organ on its own. So this is perfect for guys who need the sounds of a keyboard or an organ but don't want to hire an annoying keyboard player, because you can basically do all of that, and especially if you're playing sort of fairly simple chordal stuff, like this kind of bed in a kind of rock band or whatever. Just works great, very, very authentic, really, really nice. So if we now try the modulation control, now we're going to try this for a few of the different a few of the different actual organs, but I just want to show you briefly what this does. If we bring this all the way out, okay, this is without the modulation. You can hear there we've just got a very straight, flat kind of organ sound. As we bring the modulation in, sort of like a rotary speaker. You can hear the hammer-ons work. Really cool. Super cool, okay, so that's the modulation. So let's go through some of these settings, and then finally what I'll do is when we've gone through the settings, I'll show you the click control, because it's kind of the control that does the least in terms of the sound. So here's fat and full, just real brief, quick demos of these sounds. Very nice, got that lots of bottom end. Okay, now we go, let's set the modulation halfway up. This is the sound we had before, the jazz setting. Really, really nice. Then we've got gospel, which gives us a very smooth kind of sound, so we get nice bottom end as well. Okay, really nice. If we move to, this is number 4 now, classic rock, okay. Okay, let's move to the next one. So we've got, number 5 is bottom end. Okay, so we've got this. Nice kind of fat sound. Okay, really, really nice. And then octaves. So this is number 6 now. Again, tracks really well. Notice as well, just a real quick thing, those pitch bends. It's tracking the vibrato, which is impressive because you can't do that on an organ, so it kind of creates a kind of unique sound. Cathedral, this is number 7. Kind of nice for kind of classical kind of sounds. And then we've got continental, number 8. It's got an interesting attack on it. Let's bring the click in here, bring the modulation down a little bit. You know that kind of effect. Woo. Really, really really nice. Let's just go back to octaves a second. Okay, so really, really cool sounds. And then finally, number 9, we've got bell organ. You can hear that's tuned slightly interestingly against the guitar if I bring the guitar back in. Really, really cool. So a ton of features on there. I'm just going to go back to the jazz organ just to finish with number 2, and we'll bring the click in so you can hear this as well. So this is going to add click sound to the attack of the note. So you can hear the effect that's having, that's giving you that percussive sound, which is really, really useful if you want the attack to be a little bit harder of the actual sound. So a super cool pedal, really, really rich in terms of the sound quality and in terms of the features. Not expensive either, very, very affordable for what it is compared to buying like a MIDI setup for guitar. And again, no modification required to the guitar or the amplifier, really cool. So that's the B9 organ machine from Electro Harmonix. I'm Tom Quayle, and I will see you next time.